Oh, I've been waiting a long time to be able to use that intro. I haven't even bothered putting my own intro on this one. I thought that one would do. So yeah, this is my first ninth age battle report. I'm sorry I'm a bit bunged up at the moment, but the cold's finally got its rounds and got to me just after Christmas and that, so thankfully my new year starts in with a cold. Great. Yeah, I'm using my cave goblins at the moment because my empire is still being painted. I've decided to redo all my shields on my swordsmen. I wanted to do a bit more of an Empire Sunstall feel to them and feel a bit less Warhammer Empire. So I've taken the shield design, basically made a master version of it myself, then used green stuff to make a mould with it, and use milliput to make the shields themselves. And this is my practice one on how it came out. And yeah, I'm doing a few more there. So I've got a 20 man unit of swordsmen to do, and then they'll be up and ready to roll. But in the meantime, we have a 1000-point battle 9th age battle report. So for my cave goblins, I've got 25 cave goblins with spears, with a musician and standard. I then have my goblin king on a cave beast, large cave beast. He's got a couple of magic items as well. I can't think off the top of my head what they were. There are all these new names to remember. I then have 18 squigs. Yeah, one of my squigs broke, so I've just got an extra goblin in there pretending to be a squig. And then another 25 goblins, again with a musician and standard. And I am up against the Chaos Dwarfs, and in his list he's got 5 goblin or hobgoblin wolf riders. They have bow, I believe. I don't think they have anything else. And then he has sword and board, or axe and board. Chaos Dwarves. These are the elite ones, which are strength 4. I can't remember off the top of my head what they're called. In that, he's also got his dwarf hero. So not a wizard. He's just like a Thane type guy. And we also have 20 goblins. They have bows and hand weapon and shield as well. Also have the full command, I believe. So this is after the Chaos Dwarf's first turn. We're playing 1000 points, which is advised to be played on any 3 foot wide table by 4 foot. When we first set this up, we looked at, oh my god, this looks quite narrow and that. But actually, no, it works fine. It does really work for what it's meant to. Basically, we're playing the scenario where you've got the 3 objectives. We've got the carts, the barrels, and the other there. Scoring units can pick them up to get the extra points. Whoever's got the most at the end wins the secondary objective. My scoring units are my goblins. His scoring units are his dwarves and his hobgoblin archers, I believe. Yep, so he moves up as you see. I know we got some of the rules wrong in this. I do apologise. This is from me not actually going from front to back, just reading it through and trying to remember everything. Instead, I remembered what I knew from Warhammer and added it to it. So there's some assumptions we made which I know are wrong. I'll discuss later on. But here you can see in the top side there, the hobgoblins formed into 2 ranks. In the old volley fire rules, it allowed you, if you don't move, for everyone in the unit to fire, ignoring the guys in front. New volley fire rules basically allows a similar effect, but you only get your 2 ranks fire, but then they can then shoot over units of the same size. I believe that's correct off the top of my head, because I think I mess it up a bit, because I ignored that rule when I put my cave goblin up there to try and chase him down. But we'll see that in a minute. So this is back to the dwarf turn 2, and they've just speeding along. I moved up on my side, he moved up. This time he's going to get some shots off and try and kill my squigs, which is a damn shame because my squigs are probably the only thing that could eat through those dwarves quite happily, being strength 5 and AP 2. That's bad of me really calling them squigs to be cave beasts, to stop any confusion there. He also moves up his wolf riders. As you can see, they pass through there doing their light stuff, so they get their free reforms and that to get through. I think he also shoots at the cave beasts and doesn't do any damage. In my turn, I move up here. I'm just going to go for these archers. I'm pretty sure my hero on top of his cave beastie will soon have those archers off. This is where I remember the rules on how parry works now. In the meantime, it goes back over to my opponent's turn. He shoots again. In theory, my cave goblin, I do believe, actually blocks him because he's not the same size as those. So he probably didn't have line of sight to at least a couple of those. But anyway, he goes through and knocks a 5, and I think that's with the hobgobs at the back, also just jumping in there and trying to help out. As you can see, he just turns around to make sure he can't get any flanks from me charging in there. So at the end of dwarf turn 3, I believe, we're looking something like this. Like to point out on the left hand side, these goblins, because they're within 8 of an enemy, which means they need a march chest to be able to march, which is basically a leadership test. But unfortunately, being leadership 5, I think, it was hard work getting anywhere. So I charge in and to deal some damage to those goblins. I turn my squigs around to try and threaten the wolves. Also to attempt to charge in with those chaos dwarves to protect my king. I thought, well, at least if they charge in, I've still got 2 attacks at strength 5 striking back, so they should be able to do some damage before they go down. In the meantime, it means my king's free to finish off those hobgobs at the top. This is where I learned about parry. Parry, excuse me, basically hires your defensive stat by 1, or equals, or up to equaling the attacking stat. So my guy who's offensive skill 5, they'll count as defensive skill 5. So I'm basically hitting them on 4s, which actually does quite scary work against heroes and stuff. I actually quite like it. It's not too bad at all. So I'm hitting on 4s where I was wishing to be hitting on at least 3s and just go in there and blitz them. But I kill a couple and they then reform up. The Chaos Dwarves not only take the bait, they also make the roll and charge through over here. But I was quite content because, as I say, I've got, 12, strength 5, arm piercing, 2 attacks. So that should do some serious damage to those Chaos Dwarves and scare them a bit. Unfortunately, I whiff my rolls and, yeah, only managed to kill 2. That was a waste of squigs. I was really hoping to get a few more attacks in on that. But that's all that happened, and he chose to overround, so, you know, he's got no flanks or rears to show on any of my guys. The combat at the top, my boss the king managed to hold on and kills enough to stay in the fight. He's now joined by this other goblin who's trawling along a cart as well. This will give me the ranks I need now to stop them being stubborn and hopefully bugger off. So at the end of my turn, as you can see there, my goblins on the left hand side are still trolling along at a slow speed, and being unable to march, so that's limiting them to their 4-inch move, or advanced rate. I think that's right, march rate, yeah, and advanced rate. So I'm just trying to get the lingo of the new rules. At the top there, my squig boss chased them down, my other chaps just pivoted on the centre, and to face back down here. So in the Chaos Dwarf turn, he just spun around and fired his hobgoblins into my spearman. Don't have to do a couple of casualties now, that's from previous turn, but he doesn't do a lot at the moment to me, and leaves it at that. We're looking something like this in my turn. Again, I failed my march test, so I just advanced. But the theory here is I wasn't too bothered, because all I have to do is flee, and I should easily outpace the Chaos Dwarves. In the meantime, I've got my High King up there to give him the leadership to rally, and reform to face them off for the final turns. My High King just spins on the spot, or pivots, because he can't do a swift manoeuvre, I don't think, due to the fact he's not got a musician. So he can't move afterwards. And so you might be asking, well, Keltop, where did your goblins go? The answer is they were caught by the dwarves. Those 2 purple dice were my flee distance I ran. So yeah, I got nowhere, and the Chaos Dwarves caught me, which was somewhat gutting. I can't believe that. They slowly wandered all up this left flank here, and when they had a chance to actually break into a good pace, they run 2 inches. So with that, the Chaos Dwarf just moves his hobgoblins up to take a few shots at my chaps there, and leaves it about that. I come up here, I stick my High King upside. This is a bit of a doozy by me. Oh, I should have done, stuck my hiking right up front and just taken the charge from the Chaos Dwarves and let them run off. Left my scoring unit there with the objective, but I didn't. I thought I'd stay here and counter-charge, but you'll see how that goes. So the Chaos Dwarves charge in and hammer the hell out of my guys, kill a few off. He also uses Hobgoblins then just to block off any counter charge I've got. Thinking about it, I probably have got a front charge there, but what I thought I'd do in my turn made sense to me, but obviously it was not the way to do it. My Goblins stood for a turn. And here's them just holding here. My opponent was somewhat terrified at once. This is where I botched up as well. Yes, I assumed me being weapon skill 2 and him now, which is defense 5 because of his parry. I'm hitting on 5s, it's more than double my weapon skill. Old rules, I assumed it's 5s. Actually, looking in the book, it has to have a difference of 3 before it becomes a 5-up. So I should have been hitting on 4s, which is a shame because I had all my spear bonuses, which means I'm +2 agility and +2 pen, as well as my fight next ranks. But I managed to kill a dwarf off, and then I roll like a boss to hold my ground. And this is the last shot I took. Basically what happens is I decide to charge the wolves, get them to sod off so I can charge the Chaos Dwarves. And Hobgoblins turn, flee, and I redirect, fail my redirect, so I end up chasing down the Hobgoblins, which meant my Goblins had to go mano with the Chaos Dwarf guards, whatever they are, strength 4, and they finished off my Goblins, which didn't want to hang around and fight these guys all day, and fled. So with the score as it was, and him with the getting the objective, I think it ended up with something like a 17-3. Yeah, it wasn't very good. I lost quite soundly. But I have to say, I did enjoy getting back into playing this. I know my opponent wants to play maybe 2,000 points or something, which I can probably do with my Night Goblins quite happily, so we'll be sorting it out for the next couple of weeks. In the meantime, I'm still painting my Empire, my old school Empire. I've managed to get hold of a old school volley gun and all that kind of shit. I still need to get hold of a old school steam tank to go with the theme of it. This is a classic Empire army which I kind of started with when I was a youth. The old Ostermark colour scheme coming through. So yeah, it should be good fun. I hope you enjoyed that, guys, and until next time, farewell.